Hello and good day to you, my beautiful friends. I do hope you are well. Welcome to episode 43 of Cross Button VR, our journey into the world of PS VR2, a show for those who want to share in our newfound enthusiasm for the world of VR. Now, I'm your host, Laurie, but just to let you know, we are part of the Crossplayers. So if you like what you hear, check out thecrossplayers.com for links to all of our content and our Discord. And if you like this show, check out Crosscast, our weekly podcast that covers the full gamut of gaming. And this week as well, we've got a special episode of another episode of NX, our Nintendo-themed podcast as well. Oh, we're spoiling you. Now, it is an honor to be joined by two of the most festive influencers in the metaverse. It's Ben and Alex. How are you, chaps?
Very well, Laurie. Very well.
Oh, you're not that festive though, are you? Because none of you are wearing your Christmas jumpers, despite this being the run-up to Christmas. Everyone's having their Christmas jumper days. You did, yes.
I've got stockings hanging up behind me. I've got lights behind me.
It's got stockings on.
Yeah.
Stockings on.
You got your stockings on. Lovely. Can you see my see my tree? Can you see my tree in my picture?
I can see a tiny little
Christmas tree. It's actually a tree for my kids' playroom, but I borrowed it for the purposes of recording. So if anyone's listening on audio, don't just go watch the video of it because you can see some twinkly lights in.
It's truly a spectacle to behold.
I mean, Christmas jumper as well. Woo.
That's lovely.
Very nice.
Yeah, it's a gift from Carl actually.
I'm very tired after my Christmas night out. Does that count as being festive?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Part of being festive is being hungover most of the time.
Yeah. I did some Christmas shopping today. There you go. That's festive,
for yourself. What did you buy yourself?
For myself, yeah. Just a few tricks for myself.
Yeah. Another Switch, probably.
Yeah.
Another Switch. Love the Switch.
I think there must be a PlayStation peripheral still missing. I think we're missing a Pulse Pro headset or something.
Yeah. I like the look of them, though. With the weird prongs coming out of the bottom of them. They look odd.
Yeah, but it's the only one you're missing. So
let's shut up.
What they do need, because I now have a PlayStation Portal as well. I've joined you two in getting one. It's bloody great. I love it. I need a dock for it. I need something I can put it down when I finish playing that just automatically charges it and makes it stand up and looks nice, because it's a very pretty device and I want just something a little cradle I can sit it in that lovingly charges it for me.
It does need something like that.
There'll be a third-party one in no time, I'm sure.
Man, I don't want a third-party one. I want to pay over the odds to Sony.
I don't want a Mad Catz charger.
Yeah. Hey, talking of Mad Cats, what about Alex sneaking in and recording the episode when we weren't looking, Ben? Just putting out some secret... Mad Cat? That's what we call him.
Mad
Sneaking in... Mad... Wow, I don't know. I listened to that today as I was on my walk around town. I was listening to you, Sean and Reese, discussing Quest, hijacking his podcast feed. But it's all right, we don't mind. It's Christmas. If you can't turn a blind eye.
It's a time for giving.
Yeah.
It's a little bonus episode.
I did get very confused, as you probably noticed at the beginning, because I'm so used to being with the two of you, I had no idea where it was or who I was with. So
I like that you did it the intro twice, and you said, "I will just leave it in." Yeah. We just leave two.
Yeah. I thought that was a bit. I thought it was good.
I did.
It made me laugh. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed listening back to it and then realising I'd only put one channel of audio onto the edit, so I had to go back and redo it. But nobody seemed to notice. So, hey, it's Christmas. Anything goes.
Yeah. Well, there's a little insight into how the sausage is made for people. There you go.
Well, hopefully you've enjoyed it.
I have enjoyed it. Good. Almost as much as it sounds like you have been enjoying your Quest. You guys have really made me want one. Maybe we'll come on to Quest when we talk about the news. We can cover that off. Ooh, little bit of foreshadowing there. You see, experienced host. So we've got a bit of news we're talking about. There's some big games, some really big games. Ben has actually been doing the bulk of playing. So yeah, it's good to see that Ben's got his VR training wheels are willing to really come back off again, and he's back leading our efforts. And then there's a very special Christmas surprise bonus present for everyone. We have a very special influencer with a very special, very much real influencer, definitely a real person from the metaverse and YouTube. We have a YouTuber named Truth from their YouTube channel Witness Truth, who's coming up when we've got an interview with him to round off the show. And I don't think people are ready for that. So
amazing.
Yeah,
well, the Christmas gifts just keep on coming, don't they?
They do.
You can't handle the truth.
Okay. First up, bit of news, and we're going to cover this in what we've been playing, but we'll talk about it all now because the first bit of news is that Tiger Blade has gone and got itself a release, and it's the day after this podcast is coming out. It's the 20th of December. So if you're one of the many people that likes to listen to this podcast bright and early, as soon as it gets released to your feeds, this episode should be launched on the 19th. So you've only got a day until you need to wait until you can pick up Tiger Blade. And we've been playing it. We can't review the game yet. We can't give our verdict because there's an embargo on it. The embargo will be up on the day this episode is launched. So if you're one of those early birds that listen to this episode first thing, you just need to wait till later today and then you'll be able to hear the reviews from it. But we are allowed to give our impressions now. Ben, should people be excited about this?
Yes.
They should.
Yes. In a word, yes. They should be very excited.
Is it fair to say your first impressions are positive?
My first impressions, having finished the game...
Okay.
I mean, that in itself surely
I think that
is
says
a testament.
Yeah.
I couldn't stop playing it, and I think people should be very excited. It's very good.
It surprised me.
Can I say it's good? I don't know. Can I say it's good?
Yeah, well,
you just can't give it. You can say you just can't give it a score. That's as
it's
much
fair to
as
say you're not finished playing it, so you haven't finalised your thoughts on it because you may have. It's the sort of game where you can go through it's like an arcade game where you can get through the campaign relatively quickly, but the game lies, and I wasn't expecting this. It lies in replaying those stages and becoming an absolute perfect
badass,
just perfecting the run. And I've played through about half the stages. And already the bits of it, I feel like I'm just completely hopeless. I feel like I'm Mr. Blobby with a sword, just waving it around frantically at people. But then there are moments where I connect a few sword swipes and then effortlessly swing around, switch to my gun, shoot some people, pop, 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 get round, sword again. And you think, yes, I wish I'd recorded that, or I wish I'd thought too in the moment to stop and record this. You feel like, okay, that was cool. I was cool just then. And then you think, next time I do this, I know there's going to be someone up there, then over there, then over there. Then I need to do this. Then I need to, And it's only after about 3 or 4 of the stages that I realised or remembered that you could deflect the bullets as well. So I was like, oh, now I get it.
Yeah.
Now I can be badass.
Yeah. That's a crucial skill.
I've been the first of the 3 of us to play it, but I've probably now played the least, just given timings. But it just gives it. It doesn't give a weird first impression or anything, but I think for me, I was very surprised at the type of game that it was. It wasn't at all what I expected. I felt it was going to be just more an action kind of campaign type game, but it very much has. I think if you had to compare it to anything, you'd probably compare it to Pistol Whip to a certain extent, where you're kind of going through the levels. You've not to the same of to the beat or anything, but it's that way of like perfecting like. You get to a stage, you know where the enemies are going to come from. You get certain moves, you need to get through it as fast as you can. And it's just about perfecting your movement to get that score. You're aiming for a grading on the level, and you're going to have a leaderboard that you're going to chase. And that's going to be the beauty of the game. But it's so stylish. Certainly you guys can probably comment to this more than me, but it played beautifully when I was playing it, and you have played a lot more than I have. So the extra bit of time that they've taken to just polish it seems to have paid off.
Yeah, I think I didn't encounter any issues at all with it. I think the comparison to Pistol Whip is a good one. The key difference is the traversal, right? Pistol Whip, you're traveling, on a travelator down the level, whereas this, you traverse by either slashing an object in front of you or grappling onto something with your left hand and throwing yourself forward or slicing an enemy. So that's how you sort of jump through the level, which works, like to start with, you're like, oh, this is odd. And that's probably what took you by surprise, Alex.
Yeah,
but
exactly
you get used to it very quickly.
Yeah. I found that really jarring. I was like, oh, I don't get this. But once it clicks and you start to connect the movements and you basically you don't stop moving then. And you only stop when you're not doing it right. So it's in a way like you need to just keep moving because you need to, because it times you and you're trying to get those the quickest scores to get through the level. I just once I play through it once, and then I will try and go back and just try and like master each level. It will just be so addictive to think I could do that. I could do it quicker. I could do that better. Yeah. And when you two start your fucking leaderboards and you start shaving. So it's gonna be like Grand Theft fucking Gran Turismo 7 all over again, where you're just trying to like, oh, he's beat me by 100th of a second. And there's the rest of my night ruined. Thanks, Ben.
I really hope that I'm not sure whether this game will have done this, but obviously I think this game would be great for the leaderboard functionality of the PS5. I think if it utilises those leaderboards and gives you the notification when someone's beaten the score, that's going to
dangerous
driving.
Obviously, at the moment the leaderboards aren't live, are they? So we don't know that for sure. But I think just one other comparison I think is worth drawing is I don't know if either of you guys played Neon White, but one of the best games that came out last year. It's got the similar, like, really fast paced score chasing, time based stuff that it's so arcadey, and so the music is incredible.
Yeah, good music.
I think it's like South Korean hip hop throughout each of the stages, and it's just, it adds to it so much. And I think it's really good.
Well, we're not reviewing it. We're not giving our final verdict because it might.
No, it's not a review.
We might keep playing it and get really fed up. I think actually it's getting shit. So we'll see until we make our final reviews can be on next week's episode. But yeah, I think people should be looking out for the reviews of that one that will drop later today. And I think let's leave it there for now. We'll come back to Tiger Maid, I'm sure, in the following weeks. Maybe we can give our final thoughts.
Yes.
Another game which is also out now is Cooking Simulator, getting a definitive version now on PSVR2. That kind of came out of nowhere a little bit. And if Alex, you've been playing this one?
No, Ben. You not played it? No, none of us have played it then.
We're not playing it yet. Okay.
We've not played it yet, sorry.
So this is a 2021 PC VR game. It won Steam's VR Game of the Year award in 2021. So I think it's a really well regarded. It's one of those games that you're doing like normal stuff, but it's just mad because you're doing it in VR and it all gets very slapstick and silly and stuff. So I think it'd probably be one that we'd like. It's kind of the job simulator type style of game, or the what the bat type thing. And I think this is like the definitive version of it. So that came out on the 15th of December, which is today as we are recording this. So yeah, one to check out and to try out.
Yeah.
But another game that's also just come out as a surprise release out of nowhere is Affected the Manor. And that's a free upgrade for people that had the game on PlayStation PSVR 1. And yeah, that is, I think, out today. Yeah, this has come out today as well. So another surprise release. Now, this is a horror game that's supposed to be one of the most terrifying games. From what I've read of it, it's not so much a game as more just kind of horror experience.
Yeah.
So, yeah, one for you, Alex, I think.
Well, I think it's quite a short experience as well, but I would be quite interested in trying this for something that's a little bit different. And it's only $7.99, so it's not an expensive game. And in the press release, it also said it's $7.99, but from the 20th. So although it's out today, but from the 20th, it's going to be 30% off. So if you're listening to this on the 19th and thinking I might pick this up, I would wait till tomorrow because it's going to be 30% cheaper.
Good tip.
Yeah.
So I think this is a very short thing, so maybe this is a good thing to pick up. You've got your family visiting over Christmas and you want to just get the shit out of them.
Yeah, a nice Christmas experience.
Yeah, it's a very Christmassy game.
I think it was quite highly regarded on PSVR 1. I do think people enjoyed the experience that it was. So.
Yeah, cool. Okay, we also had the Game Awards last week, and Resident Evil Village won the best VR game at the Game Awards, beating its competition there. Was that a surprise to you guys?
No, because it's
the Game Awards.
Who's voting on it? It's people that obviously. Well, I've heard of that. Just what, like Jörg said last week.
Yeah, I was surprised. Like Horizon, I kind of expected Horizon to win it for that exact reason.
I think even to the same extent, though, if you look at the people again to the kind of process, the people that were voting didn't score Horizon that highly. Yeah, they're just scored in Village as of what it is. So
yeah, it's hilarious that best VR category of the Game Awards was just all PSVR or PlayStation games. It's like, I mean, like very.
Don't think that'll be the case next year.
Well, indeed. Let's move this nicely on to two connected stories, actually. So Black Friday was reported that it was the biggest ever revenue week for VR in the UK. So obviously lots of headsets were sold in Black Friday week. Turns out not many of them were PlayStation VR2s though. Most of them were Quest 2s, I think, actually, because Quest 2 was quite heavily discounted, which makes sense.
Yeah.
And Quest 3s as well. But I think all three of them probably had a bump. But yeah, Quest did absolute huge sales over Black Friday week, and then related to that is Asgard's Wrath, the game that the big kind of first party meta game has been released this week. It's released, is it? You get this for free if you buy a Quest 3 at the moment, or if you buy it up until, is it February, I think?
You get so you get Asgard's Wrath 2, which has come out, but you also get Asgard's Wrath with it as well, which is a PC VR
both
game.
Games, well.
You get both games.
So that's out and it has got a 10 from IGN, which is probably, to a lot of people's surprise that actually, wow, IGN are reviewing a VR game here. But this seems to be like a game that is breaking through and transcending kind of normal audiences.
Yeah, it very much feels like, from the reading of it, it's the VR game that a lot of people have been waiting for, in terms of it's like, whereas I think one of the parts that I read, it was like where everything else has been more of a tech experience, this is a fully fledged VR open world RPG that people have been clamouring for years.
Yeah, just to quote Travis Northup, who reviewed it for IGN, in his little summary, he says Asgard's Wrath 2 is an open world action RPG that sets a new gold standard for VR and competes with the best anywhere. So that's like parity with a flat screen masterpiece. You know, I think they've given out 4 10s this year, and 5 including this. So that's pretty.
Kind of says it all, doesn't
amazing.
it?
Amazing.
I should not wanting to diminish that at all. I should point out Upload VR, who we refer to quite a lot on this show, their review of it is review in progress at the moment because the game's so big they haven't given it a score yet. But they seem decidedly cooler on the game than what IGN did. Not saying it's a bad game at all, but they definitely pointed out there were some issues with it and stuff. And I can't, from reading their review, it doesn't feel like it's going to be a 10 or a 5-star as they do. So, but I mean, still, regardless, it's great that IGN are reviewing it so highly and that it's on the radar of people. It's a shame it will never come to PSVR 2 because obviously it's a first party meta game. But I still am glad to see that people are showing interest in VR.
Yeah, but I think for the medium to receive that level of accolade from the biggest game site in the world is an amazing thing. So, yeah, it's a positive. It's a net positive.
Yeah, and hopefully also it will encourage Sony to we need to compete, If Meta start, it's just like with Xbox, they had a proper competitor in Xbox. It forces them to raise their game. If you look at the 360 generation, it forced them to come back with the PS4. And if Sony are interested in staying in the VR space and increasing the market share, they need to think, well, we need to give people a reason not to pick up a Quest, to get PSVR 2 instead. So, fingers crossed, we see that.
Word.
Yeah, that is about it for the news. Unless there's anything else that I've forgotten, Alex, that you know.
The only other thing I've seen is a couple of another mode coming out for Ghostbusters. So there's a survival.
Yes. Yeah, that's true.
It's either just released or just releasing. It's a survival. Is it Infestation? It's called, and it's more of a kind of co-op survival mode against hordes of ghosts. It sounds like it could be quite fun in a group.
Are they all co-op survival modes against ghosts?
No, this is like a horde mode. Sorry, so it's like more of a horde mode. Yeah.
Yeah, they had a whole content. They did a little video, didn't they, with a whole content roadmap and stuff, which you'll be happy about. I know he loved content.
I think that's the only other thing I've seen.
Yeah, well, I mean, Ghostbusters, it's good. It's good they committed to it. It sounded like one of the future expansions was going to be a bit more story-based as well, which is certainly what needed for me to be interested in that. Okay, what have we been playing? Well, there's been a big game that came out. We didn't talk about it last week, but Arizona Sunshine 2. I've been playing it since last week, and Alex, I don't think you've had a chance to play this one yet, but Ben, you've had a good go on this one, haven't you?
Yeah, not too much, but yeah, enough to get the general gist, definitely.
Okay, well, I am about a third of the way through the game. It's quite a chunky. Well, the reviews of it seem to be, some people say, I've got through 4 hours, which I think that's ridiculous. I think you would have to be racing through the levels. I think you could speedrun it in a few hours, but IGN's review was more like 15 hours, which other people said that's ridiculous. And I think they said, well, that was the main campaign of the cup. I think from the devs themselves and from what I've played, it feels like a 6 or 7 hour game, which for me is perfect. That is what I don't want a VR game to go on for longer than that, to be honest. 6, 7 hours. I say I'm about a third of the way through. I've played it for. Well, I feel like I'm going very slow because I'm quite cautious. Whenever there's zombies around, I like to take it slow. I like to, especially with my dog. I can pick off these zombies one at a time with the dog without them seeing me. That would be my strategy in real life. I don't want to go in with guns blazing, cause a fuss. I'll just slowly, quietly take them all out. Stealth zombie killing. But yeah, I really like it. I think it's really good. It's really good fun. Really enjoying it.
Yeah, my first impressions were very much the same as that. Like it just, it's got a level of kind of, I don't know, polish and depth almost to it that you just, like we said about Synapse, it kind of feels like a game. And look, this is a £50 game, so you'd expect it to feel as such. But yeah, I think a lot of the writing and the voice acting and things like that just feels like that a few notches up from a lot of the games that we've played before. And yes, it's tropey, and yes, you're like apparently the last man on Earth fighting against hordes of zombies. We've been down this road before. It's very many games.
It's a lot more fun than The Walking Dead. It's actually enjoyable. It's not just a slog. Like the guy seems like he's having a good time.
And it's quite silly, and it's quite easy, like popping off zombies' heads in 1 or 2 shots. It's like, it's very satisfying.
There are a few moments where it's not easy, where you just get like you think you're in easy bit, and then you get cocky, and then a load of them just burst out from around the corner you weren't expecting, and you're like, fuck, reload, and you can't reload fast enough, and then I'm there like running quick. This is when I'm like, exposes how much of I fumble whenever I try to reload a VR. Reload a gun. I'm like, get in there! Oh, for fuck's sake! But luckily,
I like the way that the reloading and stuff is like not overly complicated, is it? It's pretty just grab it, throw it in, and shoot away. Like it's not too fast.
But also, there's ammo everywhere, so you don't really have to worry about. At least on easy when I'm playing. Of course, I'm playing on easy. There's ammo everywhere, like more than you need. I've always got maxed out ammo things, so you can be quite liberal with your shooting things and stuff. But it is more fun to just take a headshot and stuff. And the aiming is really good at it. You can, especially if you hold down with two-handed, you can look down the barrel of the gun and you can pick out quite accurate shots, which is very satisfying to do as well.
Yeah. But obviously, as you mentioned, Laurie, the most satisfying thing is sicking your dog on the zombies, and you can almost just point where you want him to go, and he just goes off and gets them down, chews their neck off. It's lovely.
Yeah, I love the fact you can carry 2 guns on your hip and then 1 on your back, and then your dog can carry a couple of guns as well. It's just great. So you can be, I'm going to have a go with the Uzi now, then I'm going to have a go with the revolver, then I'm going to do my pistol, and the machine gun. It's just great. I just love all that. Yeah. And all the guns are very satisfying to use, and the grenades are very satisfying to pull the pin and throw the grenade. It's a bit like Crossfire Sierra Squad, where it's just playing with the weapons. It sounds a bit like worrying, really, isn't it? How much I enjoy it, but just playing with the weapons, it's just fun and satisfying. It's just like the big clunky things, and they just very satisfying to use. And the reaction you get when you shoot a zombie and their just head blows up, it's just all very satisfying and just fun.
Do you think you'll see it through to the end?
Definitely, yeah, absolutely,
yeah.
I realise this is one of the best games I think I've played on the headset this year, to be honest.
Oh wow! Because I got to a point, I think it's in a shopping mall or something, where I don't know, I had to find a key or a key card or something.
The airport
maybe
shopping.
It's an airport. And I'd cleared out all the zombies and stuff, and then when I had to find a key to get to the next bit, it kind of lost a bit of the momentum for me, and I was like, I don't really want to be doing this. Like,
just give me the key now, done it type thing.
Because there's one sequence where you're just before that, where you're going along the actual runway at the top of what do you call them? Like the stairs that go up to an airplane.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, don't take a message. You don't know the name of this thing.
And let me just message her now. No, And that was just so much fun because you're just ploughing through these zombies, blowing up, gas canisters that are handily placed next to big hordes of zombies. Yeah. But then when it slows down, and I appreciate a game of this length needs to have an ebb and flow of action, but it just was a bit like, I don't want to be doing this.
I know the bit you're talking about. I found the key card just as I was going through that room. I didn't have to look for it. I just saw it and picked it up. But I get. I suppose it's like all those games. Like if you miss an obvious cue, or just not even, it should be obvious. But the fact that you didn't see it means it wasn't obvious enough. And I bet a developer would be like listening to thinking, for fuck's sake! I told them we needed to make that more big and shiny, and
there'll be idiots playing this.
But okay, well, I guess that's.
But not a criticism as such. It was just more of like I was enjoying the action, and there was a bit when that stopped. I wasn't. Oh, thank God it stopped! Like you are in a horror game. I was just like, oh, that's a shame. Now I've got to do this.
Yeah, a bit like we're talking about. Actually, you kind of want that momentum, just pulling you through the level, which is because it's not the game. You don't need to. There is like loot you can find or like crafting stuff you can find, but the stuff you craft with it is pretty insignificant. You don't need to worry about it. It doesn't really matter. You can make like Molotovs and stuff, but you can't make that many of them. Right. So it's not, you can only make them at certain points. So it's not really worth worrying about too much. You can just go through the levels quite quickly. You don't have to be obsessively looking in every drawer and stuff, and the ammo's everywhere anyway. So
so that wasn't immediately clear to me. Is like, should I be playing this like The Last of Us and rifling through every single drawer?
Yeah, no.
And even like when I'm finding glue everywhere, but I don't seem to be able to pick it up. So I'm like, I pick it up, look at it, and then
because I don't think you've got to the point yet. The first bit where there's a suitcase that you can open up, and it's got like some, you can use that to craft inside it. It's got some like technical stuff inside it. It's like,
right. So there's a few bits like that where I'm like, okay, I can pick it up, I can interact with this object. There's so much of this in the world. Clearly, I'm supposed to be using it for crafting, but all I could do was drop it.
Yeah,
like it's just that was a bit odd. I felt like I was doing something wrong. But
yeah, I think probably if we played the first Arizona Sunshine game, all this stuff would have all been obvious, I suspect. But I think that bit is badly explained, and it's only after you find the icon is less like, well, I don't know how this works. I just won't worry about it until later, and then shortly after that bit that you're at, it does explain it to you. So.
Okay, I will carry on as well then.
Yeah, I just really like the interplay of the dog. The main guy, the voice actor for it is really good. Just his sort of carefree attitude to it and stuff, and his interaction with the friends. It's good. It should be annoying, but I don't know why it's not. It's endearing. It makes me laugh. I'm a simple fool. But yeah, and it's the fact that he's going after this patient zero. That's the kind of the idea of the game. Is he's got like a lead that he wants to try and follow. That's enough of a hook to be like, well, I want to see what's next. Especially because the levels, they're only like 10, 15 minutes to do the levels if you do them, as long as you're not tiptoeing through them like I sometimes do. But they generally take about 15 minutes to do each level, so you can do 2 or 3 in an hour easily. So it's a nice one to play. You can jump in, do a couple of levels, jump on something else. It's good. It's a nice kind of bite-sized chunks of game. And I like that about VR games. It's quite similar to how now Nintendo used to design Switch games. It's like, well, this it could be played handheld, or it could be in front of the TV. So if it's going to be handheld, it needs to have sort of bite-sized things you can do in it as well. And like sometimes in VR, you don't want to sit down for hours and hours and hours. You want to just, the fact that it gives you those 15-minute chunks of content means that if you just want to play for 15 minutes or half an hour, or just it's ready for you to, when you think, okay, I've had enough now, I can stop, and I've still got to the end of a level. And I really like that. It's not like really long levels. That's why I didn't like Demio, because it's like, oh God, I've had enough of this now. I want to come out of this, and there's no like way, because it's a multiplayer game. I can't come out of it early.
It does make you wonder, like, just getting back to Asgard's Wrath 2 in relation to that. Like, it's a 90-hour RPG. Like, how do you piecemeal that as a game? Do you like it? That seems extremely daunting.
Particularly on a standalone headset with a restricted battery life.
Yeah. As you were saying on the bonus episode, Alex.
I wonder, why doesn't Quest have a cable that you could plug it into and play it whilst it's plugged in? Because then surely it would be no worse than playing the PSVR2. It's not that bad.
I think you could plug a cable into it. Like there is,
because you can still play it. Does it have like a long sort of? You need to have like a meters long cable.
You can get like specific. They did have cables like for connected to the PC for PC VR,
Yeah.
4. So, but
I get
there
having
are-
it battery and having it free is best, but yeah, after the end of the 90 minutes, if it's a choice between plugging it in and having a cable or just stopping for a few
But
hours,
it's just a
once it recharges.
USB-C charger. So if you've got a long USB-C cable, then we're
Okay.
powerful enough. Like my work laptop's a USB-C charger, so I can use that.
Okay, phew. Well, stop complaining about battery
Not that
life then.
would, but
So shut up.
Okay, well, cool. Arizona Sunshine 2, though. I really like it. I will keep playing until I finish it, and I will give full thoughts on it once I have. Another game that released, a big game that's released, probably the biggest game of the year, in fact, we should have started with this one, is Resident Evil 4, which I have not played. Alex, you've not played? Despite saying you were holding the game off, you haven't even played it on flat screen. You were waiting desperately till you can play it on VR, but you've
no time. Sorry.
not played it yet. Ben, our Resident Evil 4 fan. Our Resident Evil fan.
Yes, I
yes.
have played it.
Go on then. Give us the lowdown.
I mean, it does not disappoint. It changes Resident Evil 4 completely. Like it just feels. I was not expecting to go in and feel scared. Having played through Resident Evil 4 early in the year, I was like, well, I've played this. How scary can it be? But when you're in the world, like you just start off in the woods and you're like, oh shit, this is terrifying. Like I know where I need to go, and I know when I go in that cabin, there's going to be a guy waiting, in that back room, and I'm going to need to kill him and run away and get a gun. It is infinitely more terrifying playing it in VR, but fun at the same time. It's so much more satisfying shooting in VR, as we know anyway. That the medium is good for that.
And is the aiming? Does it work? Like, is it the aiming? Sometimes in VR, you could you think you're aiming at something and you shoot and it goes nowhere near it. You think, oh, for God's sake! And does it? Because that's when VR gets that right, and you point and it's almost like it needs to be quite forgiving and just give you a headshot, even if you're not quite there. You just want it to just come on, just give me the freaking headshot. Try my best, dear.
I've been able to headshot people far more easily in VR than in the base game, because you've got a little laser pointer, which you can. You've seen some of the footage that I took, Laurie, and I was like, despite forgetting to reload, I was able to sort of headshot everyone in one shot, and it's really easy to do. It does feel a lot easier in VR. The one thing that was jarring for me was there's a lot of cutscenes, and they go back into 2D flat, like you're just looking at a screen, and that is a bit jarring to begin with. Because if I thought about it, I probably would have expected it. But the first few times that happened, I was like, oh, that's rubbish. But you soon get used to it. It was more jarring when I realised.
What was it? Sorry.
No, the most jarring thing was after I'd finished Resident Evil 4 earlier this year. You know how you kind of fanny about with all the extras and see what you've unlocked and stuff. I'd completely forgotten that I'd changed Leon's outfit to like a 1920s gangster. So when the first time I saw myself in a cutscene, I was like, why am I in a pinstripe suit? This is fucking ridiculous. With glasses on. Yeah, it could have been worse. But I mean, I haven't got very far with it, but I'm just, that initial impression was like, this is the one. And I don't know if I'll finish it, because I'm like, I know what's coming, and I know it's going to be 10 times more terrifying in VR. So, yeah, we'll have to see.
And that was really what put me off trying Village in VR, because I'd played Village, so I would have known what was coming, which would have probably put me off, depending on how I was felt towards certain bits as far as I'd got. Whereas at least going into Resident Evil 4, I don't know what's coming, so I won't pussy out of it.
Yeah, that's the best.
But
you might.
For that reason.
Yeah. But I would say, it feels much more forgiving, which is quite nice. So even though you're scared, you feel more powerful. You can dual wield weapons as well, whereas you couldn't do that in the base game. So you can hold your knife. I didn't parry. I parried only when I absolutely had to, But in this, you can just hold your knife. Someone comes at you with an axe, just ching, and block it, or and then shoot them in the head or whatever. Gives you options.
It's nice when VR does make you change your style of play. I think it just completely changes your perspective. Well, obviously it changes your perspective, but
yeah, literally.
It's amazing how differently you'll play a game, the same game.
Yeah.
Do you feel this is PSVR2's killer app?
I think. Well, I don't know. Is the answer. I feel like it's a really, really, really good game. Like it's a great game, a damn near perfect game. But I don't know. Given if this just came out of the blue and we hadn't played Resident Evil 4 Remake, if this came day one with that game and it was like, this is a VR game, I'd say, yes, it probably is. But because obviously the hype has died down slightly, people have played the base game. I feel like because it feels like a tag on to that. I don't think you can say it's the killer app. I think the killer app is going to be something that's exclusive, comes native to VR day one, and exactly. So probably not on balance, even though it is phenomenal, and I recommend everyone play it.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, I've never played the flat version of it, so this is going to be the first. It will be a VR game as far as I'm concerned. And Alex, you'll be the same as well when you get around to playing it.
Yeah.
Please both record those sessions.
I will definitely download the demo, and I presume the demo. So I didn't like the demo before, so we'll see if the demo in VR does anything for me.
I look forward to seeing that.
Okay. Well, one other game that we've been playing is, Alex, you've been playing Vetrix. You want to tell us about that one?
Yeah, so if you were to look up the definition of an Alex game, then you would see Vetrix Worlds. I think that is fairly fair to say. I mean, it's Tetris-like. Is that a term? Are we going to turn this into Tetris-like? Yeah,
definitely
so it's definitely a Tetris-like. So it's taking huge inspiration from Tetris, but your key difference is it's 3D. So rather than it being like just a row of 10 blocks, it's 2 rows of 10 blocks, and to complete a row, you need to have the full 2 rows together. So basically 20 blocks in a 3D 2 by however many square. But the blocks don't drop; they just appear in the Tetris shapes, and the task is you using your hands have to place and build these. It's almost a cross between Tetris and Lego. Puzzle, like it's
that does sound very you.
Like, so I mean, it's all about how fast you can do it, and again, it's that arcade style. Once the leaderboards and stuff for this go on, I mean, you're going to challenge it. It's got co-op mode, so it's you're trying to do it together. It's got versus mode, so it's who can do it the quickest, and all the different. So like you've got a campaign mode, which takes you around different countries, to do like different stages within the countries, and the kind of backdrop changes within the different countries, and the music changes, which I was quite glad of, because that's maybe probably my only thing I would say negatively about the game is I'm not a huge fan of the music, particularly like some of the starter music. When you unlock some of the other tracks and some of the other, they're much better than what it starts with. I think when you compare it to something like, I'm going to say Masternoid because it is an easy comparison, but like when you compare the music in Masternoid, it's head and shoulders above this, and it's hopefully, and that's an easy fix. Like if they come along and they can add, and it's not bad. Like it's not bad at all, but you do want to unlock some of the other tunes because maybe the initial ones might just not be to everybody's taste. It's maybe a good way of putting it, but the actual core gameplay of this is great. Like you're just building up these blocks to try and like you can either be arcade mode, which it could be score however many points within the quickest amount of time, or clear however many blocks, or just try and you also get different types of blocks. So it can be like coin blocks, which build up your score. You can get health blocks. You can get blocks that disappear over a certain amount of time. So if you don't clear those rows within, say, 90 seconds, the block will disappear and leave you a hole. So like you can't then clear that block and things like that. But it's very simple in terms of, if you understand Tetris, you're going to understand this. The key difference is you're actually building the puzzle with your hands. And it's all about speed. And I think initially you're going quite like, oh, dilly-dallying along. You're like, no, my hands need to move much faster here. But it's very good in terms of how you can customize it, which I really like. So essentially each part of the interface of the game has got like a handle below it. You can grab that handle and move all the bits to where you want them. So where you want the blocks to come from, you move it to the right position and you start pulling the blocks. Where you want to place it, you can move it up and down to get it to the height that you want. So it's very customizable in that way. And then as you unlock things, you can unlock like what kind of theme you want, what music you want, what special blocks you want to include within the game, things like that. So, but I think, yeah, I'm probably going to spend a lot of time in this game once leaderboards and stuff appear and properly getting through it. Like it's going to hook me. You just get that good feeling from it, like the first time you play it.
The first time when I played it as well, I think I sent you a message and I was like, this is giving me like Masternoid vibes. Like it's got that same like simplicity.
Yeah.
I think you're right. It's a good call out to say the level of sort of presentation isn't there. I think I probably didn't realize that until you just said it, but yeah, the music was quite grating. It's not like the best looking game in the world. Like you could make this with just a little bit of extra attention and maybe pulling in someone from the outside who's got an eye for design or an ear for music to make this really cool. Like imagine this with a kind of like a, more of a Tetris effect kind of vibe to it. It would be amazing because that actual sensation of grabbing a block, twisting it around. I don't know about you, but I was finding I was twisting my hands in all weird
I
shapes trying to get. I need to get that block in. I think I got RSI from about the first hour.
Yeah,
but
you're very much like this, and you go like that, and like, oh my god, my arm, and you're like, oh. But
but it is fun, and I played a bit of that kind of world tour mode, unlocked a couple of levels on that. There's like a free play mode under arcade where you can just keep going. That's a good way to practice how to do it. But it is just really satisfying. It's got the same thing as Tetris where, you're trying to build up all your blocks knowing that if you can get a long one and just drop it down, you'll clear all 4 in a row. And it's just a Vetrix. Yeah, I think it could be up there. It could be the next Masternoid potentially. Wow.
Yeah,
the highest praise possible.
So we haven't tried the co-op mode yet, so we're going to play together, co-op versus, and see how that plays out. And is it a bit like we were saying about Tiger Blade? The leaderboards aren't actually. I don't know if I said this already, but the leaderboards, you can see they're there, but there's nothing on them yet, so not quite live yet because this releases on the 21st, which is a couple of days after this.
Well, you two should keep playing it, and then you can give us some further thoughts once you've tested out all the modes and had a chance to go up on the leaderboards and see, Alex, if you can become number 1 in the world on this one as well. We shall see.
Or me.
It's going to be Alex, though, isn't it? Let's be honest. Not you, is it, Ben? It's Alex.
Nah,
sorry.
It's Alex.
Right, well, we've been playing quite a lot. That's nice to see. Let's move on, though. And before we do, though, let's just remind everyone, if they'd like to support us, they can give this podcast a sub on the service they're using. And if you'd like to leave us a review, too, that would be fine and dandy. Follow us on Twitter at CrossButtonVR and at The Crossplayers. And if you really want to show the love, you can do so via patreon.com/The Crossplayers. And for £2 a month, you can help us produce the show and get entry into our lovely little WhatsApp group. That has been described recently as batshit crazy. Yeah, vigorous nodding there from Ben. Vigorous. Right, final part of the show then. We were very lucky to be joined earlier this evening by none other than Truth, the enigmatic VR guru behind Witness Truth, which is the exceptionally popular and very real YouTube channel that is just taking the world by storm. Clad in a perpetual VR headset, Truth's eyes are the ultimate mystery. His uncensored commentary makes him the prophet, some might say, of virtual realms. Whether it's dissecting VR controversies or debunking digital myths, Truth navigates the virtual landscape with a slightly surreal comedic edge, fair to say, leaving viewers and us wondering if he's a tech genius, an idiot, or just a very committed fictional character.
We may never know.
We will never know. There's no way to know. So
may never be seen again.
So over to you, Truth.
Hi guys, pleasure to be on the show.
That's great. It's so good of you to to find the time. Really, you know you're busy. Is it true that you never leave the metaverse? Is that true?
Before we get into that, lads, just want to say first of all, call out the blatant rip-off of my own remix premium show, Witness Truth, on YouTube and Twitch and OnlyFans for Twerk with Truth.
Well, yes, okay.
Wow.
Anyway, as Olivia Wilde said, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, so let them in cake.
Yeah.
I have 4 million followers, 52% of them are female. Shonda Ball. I love a good curry, wank, and a chilled can of apple tango. Anything you do say will be given in evidence. True!
Amazing. Well,
Laurie, when you said you were bringing on a special guest, I thought it was going to be like John Linneman from Digital Foundry.
No. We've gone for the full AAA VR influencer.
I am starstruck.
Me
Yeah.
too. I don't know where to look.
Well,
What's that cocoa butter you're putting on there? Is that what that is? In my shirt? It's not talking to me. Sorry, Laurie.
so Truth, we've just got a few questions we'd like to ask you because I know you're busy, man. So we've got a bit of time tonight. A few questions.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to start with the rumor that it's not really gone away. It's kind of plagued all of your time. In you've got 4 million followers now, but in all the while, ever since day one, this rumor's followed you everywhere you've been. And I just need to ask: is it true that you once started a demonic sex cult in PlayStation Home, one that still persists to this day somewhere in the metaverse?
Look, Laurel. My only crime is loving too much. The industry, VU. Actually, it's a little known fact, but Aristotle was the first to coin VU. But most people, incels, call it VR, but it's actually VU. Anyway, if I want to play front bums and willies, if I want to play back bums and willies, front bums with back bums, willies with willies, boobs on moobs, if I want to any of those things, what I do with my own recreational time away from VU is my own business, mate.
Okay. Well, we'll leave that one there, I suppose. Okay. Well, the next question then we've got is several Meta staff actually have gone on the record to claim that you are in fact Mark Zuckerberg. Is that something you want to comment on?
Who?
Mark Zuckerberg, the founder of Meta.
Yeah. The only zucking I'm doing is when it's especially warm outside and I need an ice pop.
Okay, God. Do you want to just see, Ben, if John Linneman is available?
I've already DM'd him.
So we've got
Rude.
Okay. Truth. Okay, well, how about this one then? So some say that VR is the first step in creating the Matrix and that you're secretly an AI android sent to enslave us all. Do you want to comment on those claims?
Well, look, Laurel, as you know, I wear my VR headset for everything. Okay. What? No.
Laura.
I go to the gym, bench for 20 pounds, wear the VR, cooking, wear the VR, front bums and willies, wear the VR. It's all because my periphery eyesight is incredible. And as your Welsh co-host Alex says, VR is the future. So I, for one, would be happy that whilst it's not for me, we will soon be sucking from food bags hanging upside down in caravans as our masters harvest a living.
Okay, well, notice that wasn't a denial. Okay. Now, one of your videos that got the most hits was when you famously adapted a VR headset for your cat to wear. And your cat, I believe, now lives permanently in the metaverse playing Moss. Are you not worried about the long-term impact this might have on your cat?
Look, Terry Venables has been missing for a few weeks now in a completely unrelated incident. Move on, please.
Okay. Okay, next up then, we just wanted to know your views on content. Are you a fan of content?
Look, Leza, what is really content, right? Michael Owen, Chris Eubank, Elijah Wood, Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, Jedward, the Rolling Stones, Voltaire, Babe Ruth, Kirsten Stewart, Johnny Depp, Marilyn Monroe, Bob Marley, Bruce Lee, Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Okay. Not really answered the question though, Truth. There, I have to say.
More of a list of names.
In
More
many
just an observation.
many accents.
Okay.
Respect.
I think that Android software is good about awry.
So, I mean, you're known for your investigative journalism. I mean, if you can call it that. What's been your favourite of all your exposés over the years?
Well, really has to be one of my most wholesome efforts. When I went on my gap year, got a girl pregnant, and sued Durex for millions. I didn't win as the fuckers were still in a wrapper. Where does it say to put them on, lads? Where? Anyway, it was my first YouTube video that did 1 million views. It kept little Terry Venables in biscuits for weeks. I fucking miss that cat.
I know.
He was my only love. Sorry.
It's okay. Just take all your time you need. But we do have to move it along at some point.
Get a new cat. Call it Glenn Hoddle.
Glenn Waddle.
Was there an answer to the question? No. No.
I'm prepared.
Okay, well, I mean, one of the biggest controversies we've had on this show is whether or not Masternoid is a real game or whether it's just something that Alex has made up. What's your view on this?
Who or what is an Alex?
Alex.
Oh, the Povo lad. Yeah, well, the game itself is fine. I, of course, platinumed it whilst fornicating with a small person in Peterborough VR Festival. Yes, it was good enough. It was good enough as a game, but probably my 996 best game this year.
Okay. What is your
real.
number one?
This what? Sorry.
What is your number one game this year?
You right now.
Ah. This game.
This game.
Well,
Life.
Nice. Maybe we could win Game of the Year 2023. You're right there, Ben.
Yeah. All good. This is perfectly normal.
True. Is it true that everything you say is actually generated by Chat GPT?
No.
Okay. Now, Truth, you famously insist that Palmer Luckey stole the design for the first Oculus Rift from you after you drew it on a napkin while on a drunken bender with him in Amsterdam, waking to remember none of the plans and only left with a bitter hangover of betrayal. Now, if you'd remembered the plans and released a VR headset first, how would you have done things differently?
Didn't prepare me for this one, did you? I think I would have created life.
Create life. For audio listeners, Truth is... I don't know what he's doing. Something. Well, Truth, is there anything else that you want to add whilst you're here? Tell us about your plans over Christmas.
No. Bye.
No.
Nothing to promote?
Not with you.
Anything you want to plug? Oh, you're obviously...
Gone.